Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my October bullet journal setup, and I was inspired by this paper pack from Michaels, and I will try to link it down below if I can. So my favorite paper out of this paper pack was this moth and floral sort of pattern paper. It's just beautiful. And I know you guys know that purple is not my favorite color, but this paper was to die for. So all I did was just tape it down into my bullet journal and let that be the star of the show for my cover page. To add in the name of the month, I just wrote October in a sort of brush lettering. I was so in love with the way that September turned out that I just kind of mimicked exactly what I did on that one for October. So I'm just using a scrap piece of paper to write October in a sort of light purple color with my Tombow, and I'm outlining it with my black Faber-Castells, and I used my circle punch to sort of punch out the corners so that I could still get that same framework that I used in my September bullet journal setup. So October is always a difficult month for me because it is my birthday month, but I really don't enjoy Halloween all that much. I love making costumes, like for my kids and stuff. That has always been the best part of Halloween to me, is making the costumes. But as far as like all of the scary movies and all of the spooky stuff, I'm really just not into that. And for some reason, purple is always a huge part of Halloween, and y'all know I'm not a fan. So I am sort of embracing Halloween for some reason this year. Lately, some of the Halloween things have been a little cuter to me, and I don't know why. Like I said, you guys know purple is not my favorite color, but for some reason, this paper pack really stood out to me and I had to use it. And it's mostly purple pages. Now we're moving on to the next page, and of course I did the waterfall tabs again. I brought them back. I couldn't live without them. So I brought them back, and I'm just using a bunch of different colors of my grid washi tape. I think most of them I got from Amazon, and I am just using this bat paper. It's mostly bats, and I thought it was so pretty. So I'm using the bat paper as decoration on this page, and this is my calendar spread. So I'm using a smaller calendar. I realized last month I did a really big calendar, but I write really small, so I don't really need as much space as I used last month. Like, I filled it up, but it was because I purposely wrote larger. So I feel like this size calendar will be perfect for me. Like I said, I write really small, so I don't need a whole lot of space, even if I have a lot going on. For the header on my calendar page, I decided to use the Washi Tape Shop's washi tape that they sent me a couple of months ago. And it's this black and white frame washi, which it's really pretty, but for some reason I've never been able to use it. I think because the last few months I've been using a lot of brown and it's black and white. But I realized that my Tombows will actually write on this and not smudge. So I used the light purple Tombow to hand letter October again. in. And I did darken it. I went over it twice because it was very, very pale. And it still looks pale on the screen, but in person it's not. But I'm using that as my title for the calendar. And I'm just going to come in. And I think my camera cut off because I don't know if you can tell the difference, but I went onto the purple piece of paper where all the bats and spiders are, and I actually added some white dots. For some reason, it just felt a little bit flat. So I thought adding the white dots to that page would make it stand out a little more, and I love the way that it looks. This next page started out as my cleaning spread page, but for some reason I changed up the layout and I don't really like the layout for my cleaning spread, but I think it's a great layout for like as a brain dump page really. So that's what I think I'm going to use it for, and I'm just going to add my cleaning spread somewhere in my weekly setup. But I really loved this paper. It's a bunch of frames and it kind of gives you that vintagey haunted house kind of look. It's got snakes and frogs and it's kind of creepy, but it's so beautiful with all the gilded frames. So I tried to mimic that with my craft paper, and I used some of the solid paper to kind of mimic the frames and then added craft paper over top of it. And again, used my circle punch to cut the corners out. And like I said, I think I'm just going to use this as sort of like a brain dump, and when I can think of things to put on here, I'll section them off, or I'll just scribble and doodle whatever I need to on this spread. It kind of felt like something was missing, and so I used my white gel pen to add in some little flourishes to the corners of the purple paper. So now we're moving on to the next spread, and this is my mood tracker and my habit tracker. And this spread, I had some creative issues with it. It started out one way and it ended up looking completely different, and I'm not sure which one I like better. But to start out with, I am using some of these spider stamps. I got these in like a big Halloween little tub thing from Michael's. And I think it was like $5, $6, something like that. And then it was like 40% off. So it was super cheap. But I'm just using the spiders. I knew they would be too big to get 31 on that little sheet. So I'm adding in the stars to get the rest of the month. So I'm going to color in the spiders and the stars. Hopefully that makes sense. So you can see here I'm adding in the little craft paper calendars, and I will decide later on that I don't love the way the craft paper looked. At first I thought it looked really good with the gold, and as I'm looking at it on screen, I think it looks better, but in person it didn't look that great. It looked better with the white. So you'll see I replaced the craft paper with the white. Along the side here, I am putting my header. I am just putting trackers along the side, similar to what I did for my July setup when I wrote trackers along the side. And I love the way that this looks with the little circles. Again, I just used my circle punch to punch out some black craft paper, and I'm writing trackers with my white Jelly Roll pen. So usually I am a huge fan of the Uniball Signo white gel pen, but for some reason mine has not been working very well. I don't know if I got a bad one in my little package that I bought, but I've been loving this Jelly Roll one lately. So now I am replacing the calendars. And again, my camera cut off. I don't know where. I don't know what's been going on with it, but I replaced all of the craft paper calendars with white paper. I also noticed when I did the craft paper calendars that I forgot to leave space for the actual habit. So that's another reason why I wanted to redo it. So on camera, it actually looks a little bit better with the craft paper, but in reality, it looks better with the white. So you guys can decide which you like better. So now we are moving on to what is my personal favorite spread of all of my setups usually, but of this one in particular because of the decorations. It's super creepy and sometimes a little bit hard to look at. Like when I sit down and look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's creepy. But I love the way that it turned out. I think it is so fun. So I'm using the creepy crawly washi tape that is part of the same set as the frame washi that I used for my calendar spread, and I have a bunch of these little bugs left over because you guys have seen me use the butterfly ones probably 3 or 4 times. I love the butterfly stickers, but there's all kinds of creepy, crawly, gross, disgusting bugs on that washi tape. I am putting all these creepy, crawly little bugs, spiders. I don't know what some of these are. I'm not a bug person, clearly. But I'm just using them as I thought this month would be the perfect time to use a lot of these, especially the spiders and that other 6-legged bug. Anyways, so some of them are going off the page and some of them are going into the calendar, but in a minute you'll see me where I trim off a lot of it so that it kind of looks like it's crawling all over, and the gratitude spread is what stands out. So if you watched my video last month, you will know that I accidentally made 36 boxes instead of 30. And I ended up actually loving having the extra boxes because I could go into the other boxes and like write in really bold lettering and write really big. So I've loved having it. So I actually did it on purpose this time. I have 36 boxes for 31 days, and I'm just going to combine what I need to and what I want to, and it's going to be so much fun to fill out. So that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.